from before you probably recognize Eric. And then the next segment will be Tatiana Peña, who is running for Arizona State House. She's running in Legislative District 27. You won't want to miss that. She is a Latina Republican. She is so awesome. So tell people, even if you don't live in the district and you live in Arizona, you want to hear what she says and hopefully support her. We have the cocotazos and the whole enchiladas as well. And we've got some announcements. So, Eric, real quick, I'm going to do some quick announcements and then we'll go right to you guys, okay?
Okay, sounds great.
All right, very good. I want to let you know that coming up, boy, we have with the College Republicans United, they're going to have Michelle Malkin. So go to their site and see when she's going to come out. Also, save the date. Salute a Soldier, the 5K run or 1 mile walk. That's Heroes to Hometowns, Arizona Heroes to Hometowns. Our good friend Kathy Pierce is in charge of that. That happens Saturday, March 14th. So you can register, and it's only $40 for the 5K run or $30 if you're military. And if you just want to walk a mile, $25. So it's a great event. It's an obstacle course for kids and runners. It's a great family event. Also, Nathan Duell, Southwest Regional Coordinator for Heritage Action for America, reports that there's a Content of Character series coming on February 7th for a one-day event at Arizona Christian University in Glendale. And they're going to have Reverend Jesse Lee Patterson, only $25. So that's going to be the Content of Character series. My Greater Republican Women's Meeting is going to be on the 12th, Wednesday. Our LD meeting's on the 11th. And we just had an RNHA meeting. You can talk to us about that later. By the way, a shout out to our wonderful friend Terry Mendoza, who helps us on the Tuesday edition of the Chips and Salsa Show. And their club, the Republican National Hispanic Assembly of Arizona, they won Best New Club, Assembly, or Coalition at the Chairman's Awards, at the AZGOP Chairman Awards. Okay, those are the quick and fast and furious ones because I don't want to waste any time. We got a lot to do. Eric Smaltz, if you remember, I'm just going to read this, and this will be a little intro. Got in touch with me. He said, I'd like to inform you that we found Jesse Conger's car. His twin sister has been in town. It's Patricia right here. And I flew her out to the location. The area is in the eastern wash of San Carlos Lake and floods on occasion. The vegetation 6 to 8 feet tall and thorny, so it's doubtful a recovery will be possible. Thanks for getting the word out, so we never know when a lead can help. So we want to urge you to keep Patricia in your prayers. And she has Jesse's car here. She has it parked just right outside, right?
Yeah.
Thank you so much for being here. I'm going to let Eric kind of update us, and then we'll talk to you for a few minutes. Is that okay?
Okay.
Okay, and we also want to give a shout out to Natasha. We have Jesse's girlfriend in here with us too. She's going to be hanging out with us. So thanks everybody for tuning in. This is really important. Share this because you never know who may have seen him and can help us, okay?
Okay, do I need to speak with the microphone or?
Kind of speak louder. I'll put the microphone closer to you.
Okay. Hello, Chipsters. Thank you for following along with this. It's been a very challenging 5 or 6 months.
It's 5.5.
5.5 months. Patricia was introduced to me through a veteran organization that just connects concerned individuals. And I was told about this story that Jesse Conger had disappeared from the South Scottsdale area and left his dog behind, left his girlfriend behind, and left us with very few clues of where to start searching for him. We did initiate a search, a local search, knowing that Jesse's expertise in the service was called high-angle ocean rescue. He's the guy that jumps out of helicopters in the middle of the ocean to save other people. So we knew he had a certain attraction or affiliation with water, and we did make search around the local lakes. Turning the clock back now 4 months, 5 months, his car was spotted by 3 individuals that work for the railroad at San Carlos Lake on the San Carlos Apache Indian Reservation. Patricia was on the way down here, gave me a call, and took up the opportunity to have me fly her over the area and get an aerial view of what was going on. A few days ago, we did just that, and we were really relieved flying overhead to see that Arizona Fish and Game was out there doing the investigation. That warmed my heart. Just finding the location was a big deal. But then when we saw the rescue going on from above,
Wait, something happened, sorry.
we're not going to pay you the big bucks if you keep doing this to us.
It's just got to remind us of something. Just start it back up. Just do it. That's right. You'll have that little snippet. You can just share that too.
Okay, give me a thumbs up when we're ready. Okay, sorry for the pause there, but we got to see the Arizona Fish and Game Department doing a search below us, and that was really warming to us that we saw the efforts were taking place after going so many months, basically having Jesse sitting on somebody's desk in the Scottsdale Police Department and with no follow through. It's not what you see on TV whenever we get involved in a search, especially at the level that I end up getting involved in. It's private individuals reaching out, helping the veteran community, and that's exactly what took place. But I'd like to introduce you to Patricia Conger. Not only is she Jesse's sister, she's Jesse's twin sister. So there is a bond there like no other. But this is Patricia Conger.
I really appreciate you coming in, Patricia. Thank you very much.
Thank you for having me.
We've been praying for you, and we wish we could do more. So I would like for you to talk to the audience and just how can we support you? What can we do?
You know, I don't even, well, Jesse's car was found on sacred land, and so I can't just go jumping out there, and, you know, we have to kind of play the waiting game and let them do their investigation. And I understand them not wanting a whole bunch of people coming out, and, you know, I didn't even want a whole bunch of people going out just because I didn't want everything to be disturbed, but, you know, it has meaning to them too, and they don't want everything disturbed. And so I understand them wanting to do the search themselves. I just really would like to find if there's any help that they are willing to accept, because there's so many people who, even before I got here, were like, I'm here in Scottsdale, I'm here in Phoenix, I'm here, you know, just tell me where to, and I was like, I can't tell anyone, I don't want to tell anyone.
Really do
Yeah, I didn't want anyone to go out there, but everyone is ready. We had almost 200 people at our search in October, and we didn't even have the car. People just wanted to search. And so now that we have the car, I mean, the amount of people that have reached out, I started out by asking for anyone with cadaver dogs to let me know if they would be willing to come. And I've had probably 15 to 20 organizations reach out and say, we have cadaver dogs, don't worry about payment, we just need to be working with the local law enforcement. And so I've had so many people reach out, but I can't have them come out until we have permission from the reservation. So I really want to get permission, and I really want to, you know, make sure we're working with people that really want to respect our hosts.
Well, it sounds like you're really doing it the right way, and it must be frustrating because you have the help, and it's wonderful to know the community is trying to be there for you.
Mm-hmm. Yes, they are. I've had so many members of the tribe reach out, and it's been, I mean, they've been just the sweetest people, and they are saying, well, we're members of the tribe, tell us, and I still haven't told anyone of them because I don't, you know, I don't want to overstep or,
Certainly.
you know, and I'm not privy to all the information. I don't know what's going on, and honestly, I think that if when the men who found the car, Anthony Castaneda and Levi Angel, um, my guiding angel. They texted me. I don't think I would have known that the car was out there because they would have, had to process the car and they would be doing this search, and so just the amount of attention that we've gotten, that people really want to find Jesse, and they've kept him in the news and they've kept us in their prayers, and when Anthony and Levi found the car, they were like, well, what's this? And then they Googled it and they said, oh my gosh, it's that veteran that went missing. And they texted me, and they called the police, and then they texted me immediately. And I just want the San Carlos Reservation, I don't think that they should just bear the full burden of a search like that when we have so many people who want to, so much manpower that want to go out there and help. Yeah, and so the reservation doesn't have to bear the entire burden of the search. And I explained to them, I said, if you want any help, please let me know, because there's so many people wanting to go. I drove down, and I'm here, and there's so many people here that want to be here, and there's so many other people that are waiting to hear. And my parents are up in Utah, and they're waiting. I just said, let's just have some people waiting up there and
It's
people waiting here.
A big waiting game at this point. Why don't you give the audience information if someone wants to contact you, or maybe they think they have information? What's the best way they should do that?
So, my phone number for my cell phone has been all over the posters in the news. And
Everybody has it now.
Yeah, so if you want to get in contact with me, just Google Jesse Conger and the number will come up.
And Jesse is spelled Jesse.
Yeah. And then we also have the Find Jesse Missing Veteran page on Facebook, and so you can find me on there. When I was trying to get the word out, I just went onto my Facebook and I deleted everything, all my pictures of my kids and everything from when it started, and I just made it completely public, and then I started friend requesting, and I have 5,000 friends. That's the max. I didn't know that, and I just was like, I gotta let everyone know, and so contact me on Facebook Messenger, contact me on my personal cell phone, contact me however
very
you
accessible.
want.
Or contact Eric. Contact the Chips and Salsa show. We'll funnel it through and put you in touch.
Great.
We've been trying to do whatever we can, and this is the best way we can do it. Just get out there. And you can share this. I mean, take this broadcast. I know we sorry, something happened to my phone. It wasn't Sarah's fault. Something happened goofy to my phone. But you can take this segment and share it all over Facebook. You can send a link even, and send a link in an email to someone you think, oh man, they might know somebody there or whatever. We are such a helpful community. We can be.
If I can add to that, that you guys are the important ones. Granted, I get out there and get dirty, but I can only react when things are found. It's you guys that are important, and important in several different ways. Just feeding us information. If you see a search and rescue going on, focus on the face, ears. Those don't change. Beard, hair, color, all that does change. Facial features. Pay attention to those, and get back with the proper authorities. And above and beyond, be in touch with your family and friends. We never know a situation like this where an individual is going to fall into some type of depression and decide to bail. Make those phone calls. And when I mentioned that, Patricia mentioned that she made a post earlier today. Says, don't call your friends, go visit your friends. Isn't that
That's even
true?
better, if you can
We
do
need
that.
one-on-one, belly-to-belly contact with individuals that are at risk. And today, when I posted that call your friends. I got a phone call today from a friend, and they said, Eric, I saw your message. Are you okay? And I had to pause. And I said, after the trials of this week, I am at risk. Thank you for calling. And that's really all it takes, is us coming together as friends, as family, and helping lift each other up when the times get rough. Individuals aren't going to come to you and say, look, I'm feeling suicidal. You know, some of them do, and that's great, but a lot of times this is an internal thing. It's something that doesn't get discussed, and all it takes is a particular trigger, and then that's when I end up getting called in.
Very well said. I want to thank you guys for coming in. This is great. Please keep us posted, and we'll update you with what we can. Eric is very good about that. Patricia, now you know who we are, and we're here every Thursday night. Drop in if you're here. We're here, by 4 o'clock, and shoot us an email or something. We wish you all the best.
Thank you.
And thank you, Natasha, for coming in as well. If you'd like to hang around with us, you're welcome to. And if you need to go, we understand too.
We do have to go.
We do. But thank you very much for having us, and thank you for being an audience to this show. It's awesome. And you've got to meet Tatiana. She's a great person. I've worked with her in the past.
Coming up next. Great. Okay.
Thank you, guys.
Great to meet you. Good luck to you. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right.
Good luck.
If you'll send Tatiana in, that'd be great. Bye, ladies. Appreciate it.
We'll be
Bye. Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
Bye.
We'll be praying.
You'll be praying for
Thank
you.
you.
Okay, while we make that transition, I want to remind you, and Tatiana will be here in just a moment. We're also going to have the cocotasos, the whole enchiladas. I'm going to whip through those real quick because maybe at the end we can do it. But we have Smell the Burn commercial as a cocotazo. There were 6, and you can find these all on our Facebook site. There were 6 fentanyl dealers released without bail. Pelosi's son has a Russian connection. Chinese students are 4 grade levels ahead of our U.S. kids. Wrong, that's wrong. California Governor Newsom, he enlisted a no-kill animals. He wants to do no-kill animals. 15% of abortions in the U.S. are from California. What do you need now? I'm sorry? Oh, found your stuff.
Excuse me.
Oh, okay. It's okay. Getting there. Another one is Don Lemon's laugh. That was a big cocotazo, and then his apology also equaled that. Bloomberg's big gay ice cream. If you haven't heard of that, Tatiana, come on in. Come on in and take a seat. I'm just reading the cocotazos. We'll introduce her in just a moment. Our whole enchiladas, though, we had the border fence helped cut crime in Yuma by 91%. Another nominee, Trump hosts the Bolton, Ukraine video, the interview. That was awesome. The RNC ad, which is a response to the lemon laugh, was fantastic. It was great. Again, go to our Facebook site. I've got all these posted here. Doña Ana, that's my old stomping grounds of Las Cruces. Doña Ana County, the commission votes against supporting the red flag bill. Barely passed by 1. My nephew, David, sent that to me. And then, of course, I'm going to nominate Tatiana 2020 for a whole enchilada. Woo, she's so lucky.
Thank you.
And we're going to get right to her. I've had the pleasure and the honor now of getting to know who I can call friend now,
Yes.
Tatiana Peña. And Tatiana is running in my district, in legislative district number 27, which is like the South Mountain, South Phoenix area, and very predominantly Democrat. We are minorities within a minority there.
Yes.
Latino Republicans.
Yes.
But she's running, she's a fantastic candidate. She's got roots there, well spoken, speaks Spanish. We should have had her bring her guitar because she's a mariachi also with a beautiful voice. She's got it all. And we thought, we got to get her on here and come back as often as you can. So I said a little bit about you. Why don't you go ahead and give your little ice story to the audience? Thank you for being here.
Well, thank you, Alice, and thank you, George, for having me here. So my background, I'm the first generation American born here in the U.S. and in the South Side. My mom is from Costa Rica, my dad's from Honduras, and they both came, my mom was a teen when she came. My dad was early 20s, came legally to the United States and settled in the U.S., and they started up the roots in South Phoenix. And so I am a South Phoenician through and through, with our generations here in the U.S. starting in the community. I used to know South Phoenix as just seeing the cotton fields, the citrus groves, the flower fields, the Japanese flower gardens. I used to just go up on South Mountain and just see all the different colors. And so it has changed tremendously. Do you remember Levine used to be, you just drive down Baseline, keep going west, 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 and eventually you just hit a dirt road.
That was a long time ago.
Yeah, and I was just in Levine today, and I'm like, oh my goodness, I could have never imagined that we'd be here where we are today, where now there's all these different homes. We still see some of that countryside feel throughout, even South Phoenix sometimes, and certainly in Levine. But I just love our community so much, having been raised here, going to school in Roosevelt, as well as at Frank Elementary in Guadalupe, which is also part of our district. So, and ended up going to Fees Middle School, which was with a lot of the children from Guadalupe. And then I went to Mountain Point. I was one of the first Southsiders. They used to take a few of the South Phoenicians on the other side of the mountain to Mountain Point.
Oh, you got bussed over there?
We got bussed over there. Yeah, they
Wow.
still do it, but they've expanded it a lot more. But it was, I think, like 2 or 3 bus stops when I was in high school, and they would just fill up our buses to bring the diversity to Ahwatukee. And I loved it. It was a great experience.
She's not that old. It's not like,
Yeah, it was just like yesterday.
Were you
It
a
wasn't-
cheerleader?
No, I wasn't. I was in choir though.
Oh,
I was in choir, yeah. My family were musicians. So my dad's a professional violinist. He has a mariachi band. He's been doing mariachi since before I was born. Not long after he came to the United States, because he came to study violin at ASU. So not long after he had started his studies at ASU, he was recruited from a mariachi group. They were looking for any Mexicans to come and be part of this mariachi band. They wanted to make a good mariachi band, and the closest thing they could find was my Honduran father that was really good at the violin. And not only good at the violin, but he could read and write music. And so he's been in the mariachi world in Arizona. He's pretty well known in the community because he's taught a lot of students as well.
If I may say so, she is a terrific singer and a guitarist. And if you've never seen Tatiana play, it is heartwarming. So not only is she a candidate, but she's also an artist. So, and a mom.
Yes.
3 beautiful kids.
Yes, I have. I'm married. I've been married for almost 9 years this next summer, and we've got 3 girls. They're almost 6, 4, and 2. I love them so much, and because I've been seeing what's been going on, that's gonna ultimately not only impact them, but impact my grandchildren, my great-grandchildren. That's why I decided I needed to throw my hat in the ring. Right now is a very serious time in our state and in our nation for people to really start paying attention what's being done through government, through politics, because if we're not careful how we vote, we're going to regret it. We're going to regret it, and it's going to be hard to reverse it. So I decided, you know what, South Phoenix needs a voice like mine. I know how people are. We are very, our community is very family oriented, believe it or not. I think a lot of people, that they don't know the community. They see what the news shows them, and they just assume that it's a lot of crime and,
You still have the reputation down there.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I invite you to come and visit because
Yeah.
there's so many changes, as you know. I mean, there's some beautiful, wonderful areas, and the people are very real. One thing about South Phoenix and South Mountain, you do feel a sense of community where, and a lot of other places in Phoenix, I don't think you can say that.
Yeah, there's definitely a sense of community. You go through, for instance, I went to a neighborhood off of 16th Street and just south of Southern for Halloween night. Phenomenal trick-or-treating there. Phenomenal. They go all out, and people know that that's a neighborhood to go to in the South Side for trick-or-treating. And so you would have neighbors that they would decorate their yards, they would have their candies ready. They would bring out their grills out to the front yard to grill a meal.
Nice.
And I know this isn't the only community that does that. There's several communities within our district that do that. And you don't find that everywhere else. You really don't. And so it's just, people really watch out for themselves. And that's another reason why I think it's so important to have someone that actually is from the community, representing the community. I don't know if you knew, Alice, but our two current representatives are not natives. They're not even natives to Arizona.
And they're not even natives to Arizona, but yet they're there.
Yeah.
It's
Have
time
you-
for representation, it really is.
Yeah.
Have you been able to go out and speak to your constituents, your community, and get the feel what the community needs? Maybe you could say a few things of what your community has brought up to you.
Let me tell you, this girl has been out there. She is, and in fact, I'm gonna interject, it's a great question. But if you live in the area and you would like for her to host a meet and greet or come to speak, she's a good speaker, as you can tell, she's very articulate. And, contact her because she can use your support and she does a good job. All right.
And I'll do mariachi if you want me to do that too. If you want, invite all your friends. We'll do this in Spanish, So yes, I have been talking to a lot of constituents in our community. I go pretty much every day. I make it, a priority to, either be in a neighborhood and make some contacts, or if I'm at the store or whatever, I make sure that I am talking to people, that they know that I'm running for office and that we talk about the issues that matter. And it's really amazing to see that, yes, despite the fact everyone has a stereotype that we're very blue leaning, yeah, you might say that on paper, but when you talk to the constituents, they're definitely not far left. They're definitely, I wouldn't even say they're like, where the Democrat Party used to be yesterday so much. I would say these are really conservative people.
They want representation. They want to be able to go to say, hey, Tatiana, we're having this problem in our neighborhood, maybe you can speak to somebody, you can do something. And that's when a representative comes in handy, and a person that talks to the people and is accessible to the people is what they want. They don't want these politicians that get elected and they never see them. They see them on paper, and maybe they'll see them at a rally, but that's it.
And
But-
that's a good point. As you are out there in the community, have people told you that? I've
Yes.
seen, for example, somebody say, well, we really back this person, but then don't see it anymore. Can't
Well,
reach them.
You want to hear what I'm actually finding out when I talk to people, like as I go to their homes and introduce myself as a candidate running for state representative. If I ask them, do you know who your state representatives are? They are completely clueless. If I give the names, they still don't recognize who they are. So, that right there just shows you how big of a disconnect there is. And yes, I do see, that there's presence from the others, sometimes in the community. But you also find people that are in those group meetings, and when you actually sit down and talk to them about, hey, how are you feeling about what's currently happening, they do feel like, yes, we have an individual here, or we have individuals here, but are they really listening to us? Because what I tell people is they've run unopposed. That's a scary thing.
Very
And
few times have we
yeah.
been able to come up with some Republican candidates.
Yeah.
Very few times.
And when people don't have anyone to challenge them, then no one's holding them accountable to anything because they just get in. So I'm like, I want to change that. I want to make sure that this district gets heard and people are actually making efforts to really listen to them and to work for them regardless of political affiliation. And that's one thing is, I will talk to whoever. Sometimes I bump into, and this happens very often, I bump into Democrats as well. And we have great conversations. We talk about the issues that matter to them. I also let them know the things that they're not aware of that's happening in the state, that they're just appalled by. A lot of the bills that are being pushed forward, even from our current representatives in legislative district, are abortion focused, right? Or trying to introduce comprehensive sex education to children, which, for those people who don't understand, comprehensive sex education is not the sex education that the vast majority of us adults grew up with. This is going further. This is, now teetering into, the idea of abstinence is now, and I hate to have to say it, but just so we understand how bad the situation is, they're trying to change the term of abstinence to now be oral and anal sex. That is considered abstinence. And I don't think any child in any grade at school should be taught that that's not abstinence. So these are the things that we see happening in the state legislature from the other side, from the Democratic Party. That's something that I don't think is good for children. I don't think it's good for our society. It's not good for our community that if we want to strengthen our families, it's the family that we have to strengthen if we want to have a stronger community.
So how are you going to be how are the people going to be access to you once, let's say, you get elected?
You mean have access?
Have access to you.
Once I get elected, or right now?
No, once let's say you're elected.
Yeah.
Because they'll ask you, how do we reach you? How do we?
How does she plan to be more accessible to?
Yeah.
Well, I think definitely by being, I definitely will be answering my phone calls. If someone leaves a message, I'm not going to answer it every time, of course, if I'm not in a meeting, or if I'm in a meeting, but I will be calling back. I'll be writing emails back, letters, and of course going to community events and really listening to them and hearing their concerns. That's an interesting thing because there's special interest forces out there. I'm running clean, so I don't have those people speaking in my ear. I'm working on behalf of our community, right? What you do see is with individuals that are not running clean, they have these special interests always getting their attention, and it's whoever has more influence with money gets listened to. And I don't think that's fair to our community, especially because our community, while we do have a lot of wealthy people coming into the community, we can't forget the people that have been there forever. We cannot forget the real Southsiders. And we've been seeing gentrification continue to happen with, while our current elected officials say, oh yes, we're beautifying the community. Oh yes, it's looking beautiful for someone else to live in because it's no longer affordable for our people. We cannot forget our people. We cannot forget them. We have to help them be able to also be successful in the community. While of course, we're not going to, keep people from coming and being part of the community as well.
I tell you what, Tatiana, I've been there about 15 years, and when we were looking for a house, and a good friend of mine who's no longer with us, Ruben, he said, Alice, go check out South Phoenix. It's kind of like a little paradise people don't know about. I'm like, what, South Phoenix? Because it had a bad reputation. Well, yeah, there was a lot of growth, and we loved it. It's beautiful. It was rural. It was all kinds of stuff was going on, and now it has been discovered, as you say. So that's the challenge, so it doesn't get too exploited. We try. Mm-hmm. But what I want to ask you also is, people are going to say, because they always tell us in the past, that's South Phoenix, there's no way a Republican can't win down there, all this. So what is your plan of attack to convince people otherwise? Because, people laugh at me, and mm-hmm. I said, no, you haven't met Tatiana. Mm-hmm. You haven't met. It would take a very good, strong candidate, and that's why I have such faith in you. But tell them what you think it's going to take in your plan of attack and action, and how people can help you as well.
Well, I'm not going to tell all my plans.
Yeah, she's good about that. That's right.
You don't give all your secrets out. But definitely what I'm doing is making sure that everyone gets to meet me. Everyone sees me. Everyone sees my presence. I have my logo, and I was very, very specific about this. I knew it was funny because I just woke up one night in the middle of the night, and I was like, a heart. What greater message than love, right? And as a songwriter, because I am also a songwriter, that was the message that I had in all my songs, is about love. And also as a faithful believer, I know that we are taught about love, and that's what Christ was all about. So anyways, the heart, I was like, I want a message that tells people what I really do believe in. And I don't want people to just judge me by my label as a Republican. I want them to see me as Tatiana Peña, a Southsider, a fellow Southsider who cares and loves this community. And, I want to be the heart of the community, the voice that speaks for the heart of the community, right? And how perfect, because I'm a singer. So, right?
So natural.
Yeah. So I wanted to have something that would stick with people, that would conjure up the good feelings, so people understand that that's what my message is all about: positivity, and just making sure that we continue to grow and make our community even more and more beautiful. And I want to highlight all the good that comes from our community as well. You know, like I was saying earlier, people have these stereotypes. They have these stereotypes of the South Side, and I look at my family, and it's a miracle. It's the American dream, you know. And then I know many Southsiders, same story. A lot of immigrant families, or a lot of families that have been there, you know, for a long time, or some that just came from a different state. And then you see success, you see prosperity. And that's why, as a Republican, I think it's important that we have a Republican in this seat, because what I'm seeing from the other side is threatening that success, is threatening that prosperity. I'm seeing what I saw, and a little information. I married my husband. He's from California, the Bay Area, Silicon Valley, right? So that's like the hub of liberalism right there. And we were there for the first 3 years of marriage. And I saw the same policies that I see now trying to be introduced here into Arizona. And if you live in California, there is no middle class friendliness over there. You don't really have as much success, and an opportunity to really grow so much, because, you know, it's really just overpriced and overburdened, everything, just too much. So we need to take care of the heart of the South Side, the heart of Arizona. We've got to make sure that we take care of the heart of the family. That's what this message is all about. So I'm out there just making sure that I'm like a broken record. People can't get me out of their heads.
That's good.
A good one.
So what kind of problems do you see in your immediate community? Maybe homelessness. Is there homelessness there?
Yeah.
Do you see the growth of homelessness or the decline of homelessness? And now I know they have the metro rail going through.
Light rail.
That was
Yeah.
just voted in.
Mm-hmm.
Do you see the community rising up in the future with your help in the House through bills that you may introduce to help your community? How would you do that? I mean, how do you see that? Because you will, if elected, you will present bills, you will be sponsoring bills to help your particular communities. You might not see that right now with the elected officials that you have, but I know you and your heart, and for the people, what are you going to try to change in the community or improve in the community, I guess?
So what I've seen with previous leadership, including the current leadership, is, you know, you are in position of authority in the state, you know, and even though you are not the majority with your party, doesn't mean that you cannot have a powerful impact and that you cannot work together across the aisle to get things done for your community. But that's not what I've seen from those representatives. And so me, you know, I'm just going to put everything aside, you know, and I'm going to care about what's happening in our community and what we need to get done. And when it comes to bills and when it comes to, you know, ideas, I'm going to work to be that voice, to work together and not, you know, continue this bickering and fighting about, hey, you know, well, my party doesn't have the majority. I want to have the majority to get things done. Let me give you an example of what I saw that to me was disgusting. I was attending and I continue to go to the criminal justice reform meetings that were being held this last year. They had an ad hoc committee meeting to discuss, you know, what are some ideas that they could take on to reform our criminal justice system for the state of Arizona. Representative Walt Blackman, who's a Republican, is the chair of that committee. Our two LD27 representatives sit on that committee along with, I think it's it's either one or two other Democrats, right? And then they have the equal amount of Republicans being represented. So they would have all these presentations. They would talk about all these things, about what they can start tackling, and try to find that middle ground where they could agree, so that afterwards they could vote on these things that they all agree, right? And then introduce them in this year's legislation, right? So starting as of January. So I went to all these meetings, and then December comes, and they had their final one of the year where they had to vote. After all these meetings of discussing issues, they had to vote, and I believe it was somewhere between 6 or 7 ideas that they were going to try to bring up in the legislation for this year, right? So I knew that they've all been working together pretty nicely, trying to fix things up, right? And as I was listening to every single idea be introduced, I was like, wow, that's pretty amazing, because that's usually not something a Republican's for, right? And then when it came to the actual vote, the Democrats didn't even vote at all. They didn't even vote. And some of the things that were being suggested, I was like, I don't think that came from a Republican. That can't come from a Republican. And I did ask after the fact. I went and I asked Representative Blackman, what happened? What happened? What's going on here? And I'm like, and then he's like, well, actually, there had to at least have been 2 or 3 of those suggestions were completely written from the colleagues in the Democrat side. And he's like, they just didn't even vote. They just didn't even vote. And I'm like, and the interesting thing is, after this, not even voting for any of those things, which these were really like, low-hanging fruits, like duh, we should work on these things, right? After that, they proceeded to give their closing statements. And what did they do? They politicized it. Elections matter. Elections have consequences. That's what I was hearing from them. I'm like, you're going to do this when there are people, family members, that are currently incarcerated, that these issues could be solved if you guys were just, reach across the aisle. The Republican, I will admit, the Republicans for a very long time looked the other way. They weren't really focused on this because this wasn't the issue that they were, they were focused on other issues. It's not that they didn't care about it. It's just a lot of their constituents, this wasn't their main thing. Well, now, because of Representative Blackman, he sees this as a huge issue within the Black community, within minority communities, and he's been speaking out. So we see this now that someone's trying to reach across the aisle, and the Democrats don't seem to want to play that.
That's, that doesn't get talked about, and you can say it because you went and witnessed it firsthand and saw what happened, which I love. And I love when people communicate that, because we're political junkies.
Yeah.
So the 3 of us here, man, we follow politics. We're trying to reel Sarah in over there, Super Sarah, to get really interested. And I bet your awareness has been raised. I bet your radar's up a little bit more now that you've been doing this. And it's just very refreshing. And those are the kinds of things. Like, I envision when you get elected, I'll say, when you get elected, that, you'll be able to contact her office. And I know you're going to be really super busy, but that is so important, because once you get in there, there's a tendency to forget, and people don't even know how it works. Like, we're only supposed to be in session till about April, but a lot of times it runs longer, just depending on. This one would probably get out earlier because it's an election year, right? We'll do that. That's probably
true.
Do they have a
happen.
forum set up coming up where you discuss amongst the candidates?
Yeah, I believe that's coming, I think, in August or so.
The clean elections?
Yeah.
There are clean elections
It's-
debates, and just a
yeah.
reminder for people that don't know, the clean elections is something the state level can do. So she collects $5 donations. We've had Dr. Branch talk about it, and she's already turned in her signatures. She's turned in her 5s. However, you can still keep collecting, right?
The signatures, not the 5s at
So
this point.
if you are in the district and you want to support her and sign, we can do that still.
Yeah.
We can still keep
Yeah,
collecting
definitely.
that.
Well,
But there will be
congratulations for getting
Thank
your
you.
signatures and getting your 5s. That's a hurdle that you have to reach, and she reached it a while ago. Means that she's been supported by the community loves her, and she has a good backing in the community. And I guess, or I know the community's looking forward to see what Tatiana can do for the community, and we look forward to seeing her being a success in the House and creating a difference in Phoenix because it's a well-needed difference and it's a well-needed representation.
Mhm.
She has the heart to do it, and you have
And she's the only Republican running right now.
Yeah.
At all. There isn't a senator, a Republican running for
Mhm.
senator, and there are no other Republicans running for the House. I think there's more than a few Democrats. There are 2 positions. So
There's
each
4.
district- Well, no, I was going to explain.
Oh.
In each district of the state, we have 30 districts, and there are 2 House representatives and 1 state senator. So there are 4 running on the Democrat side. You were going to say?
Yes, there are 4 Democrats running for the 2 positions on state representative. And I believe our state senator is running unopposed.
wow.
Yeah,
Is that right?
I believe so. I have not seen anyone jump in, not even from the other side, to.
And
to
that's
oppose her.
Rebecca Rios. Is our
Yes,
state
yeah, she
senator.
runs
How can the
unopposed.
people reach you, Tatiana?
So right now I have my website. It's www.tatianapena for AZ. That's FORAZ.com. You can also find me at Facebook at Pena for AZ. That's probably the best way you can reach me. I'm happy to.
And don't you have an event coming up that you want to tell people about?
Yes. So if you're going to be at the Levine Parade this Saturday, I'll be there. I'll be there, and
It's
I'll
really
be marching.
a nice parade. It's
Yes.
worth going out there and making a little drive. It's
Yes.
surrounding community. It's nice.
Yeah, we're also planning to be at the Levine Barbecue.
And that's
Yeah,
next week.
That's the
following
following.
week.
Yep, that's the 8th, and whatever events there are, I will try to be there. I make it a big priority. I was at the Guadalupe Christmas lights event. I was at the South Phoenix Parade. Oh my goodness.
The car clubs. You did the
Yes,
car
I've done a
clubs?
few car clubs. The MLK event at the NFL charter school. I mean, just whatever events there are that I can just
People
make
will
it
come up
to.
and meet you,
Yeah.
shake your hand, and talk to you.
hmm
And,
March for Life. We were at the March for Life.
Life.
That's true. We were.
They can ask you questions.
Yes.
And, get to know you.
Mhm.
They're a candidate. It's the people's candidate out there in LD 27.
Yeah, and don't forget. I don't want to forget this. My email, TatianaPena4AZ@gmail.com. So just reach out to me, and I'm happy to talk and answer any questions. And if you want to have an event, I'm happy to schedule an event as well.
She's out there and she's not afraid to get out there. So
Mhm.
really, what I'd like to do is take the last few minutes. You watch our show a little bit. We have our
Yes.
cocotazos and our whole enchiladas.
Yes.
And that way you can kind of get more an insight of Tatiana's politics. Obviously, she's Republican. She's
Mhm.
pro-life. She's very family-oriented. Everything that. Oh, did we die again?
No, okay.
Oh, okay. Whoops. All right, Sarah. Very nice. So, shall we do that? We like to have George explain what a cocotazo is if this is your first time tuning in.
Cocotazo is when you say something stupid or crazy, and they come up. Usually it's your mom. She comes up behind your head and just kind of taps you in the back of your head. That's a cocotazo. That's to kind of knock some little sense into you, and it kind of works. They get pretty good at it because the cocotazo's kind of.
Yeah, I noticed you kind of have a dent back here, George.
Yeah. That's a lot of cocotazo. But I got smart afterwards.
So then, we started doing the cocotazos, which is like political things and stunts that were bull. We called them cocotazos, and then we said we got to have something positive too.
Yeah.
So on the other side, we have our whole enchiladas. So when somebody does something great and right on, then we nominate them for the whole enchilada. So we're gonna go down that list. We did that earlier. So if there's something you want to comment, go ahead and do that on Facebook. If Sarah happens to see it, she might give us the information. So did you guys watch the Smell the Burn commercial? Have you seen that?
No, I have not
Oh.
seen that yet.
Go to our Facebook site. It's hysterical. It's let's see, the perfume is Bernay or something. Anyways, it's hysterical.
Wow.
There was also horrible things. 6 fentanyl dealers were released without bail, and oh my goodness,
New York.
in New York, yeah, terrible,
Wow.
terrible, awful thing. Also, I saw Pelosi's son has a Russia connection.
Of course, of course.
Hmm,
Are we
interesting.
surprised?
Interesting. This is not, and you're an educator, we're an educator. Chinese students are 4 grade levels ahead of our U.S. kids. That's a big
Yeah,
cocotazo.
yeah.
Terrible, terrible. There's so many. California Governor Newsom, your former state where you were living in, he wants to institute, I got the story right here, a no-kill state for animals. So you can't euthanize your doggies. However, he didn't say anything about abortion, and the statistic quoted in here, it said 15% of abortions in the United States occur in California.
Wow.
Horrible, horrible. And along those same lines, I also saw the headline that Fox refuses abortion survivors Super Bowl ad. Sounds like it's just, you know, it's a really cool commercial. I don't know if you've seen it, but it's survivors of abortion. But yet others are okay. That's a cocotazo. And then of course, unless you've been under a rock all week, you saw the Don Lemon.
Yes. That was very insulting.
And then he comes back with a really weak apology, trying to apologize, and he didn't really even apologize. No. Did you see all that, George? Crazy. And the latest one I heard this morning, Bloomberg says something about he likes big gay ice cream. I don't know.
What?
But those are the cocotazos that I came up with. And there were so many, I ran out of room on our board. So I'm looking over here, guys, because I write them all down because there's so many. Do you have any that we forgot?
I'll just say that I remember years ago with the Chips and Salsa show, the cocotazos wasn't this long. Have they really lost, you know, they've gone that cuckoo, you know, that now we've got that many more. No, we don't. We really don't. It's it's a scary thing.
It is a scary thing. You're absolutely right.
Yeah.
And you know, and Republicans can do a cocotazo too. We're not immune. But
oh yeah.
We highlight them here. So, but now, let's go to, well, do you want to vote on which one you would vote for? What's the top cocotazo? So the worst, I guess you'd actually say.
I think Pelosi's son with the Russian connection. That's
after all that, huh?
I think, yeah, I agree. I mean, these are all really bad, but when you think about it, it's like because we have corruption taking place and those people who are corrupt not being held accountable, we can't take care of a lot of these other issues either.
That's true.
You know?
And they're so adamant. They've been trying to do it for years, trying to, you know, connect the Russians. So
the no-kill animals over babies, I think, is really crazy.
Those are, I think you're right. I think those are the top two. Shall we call it a tie? Let's call it a tie.
Because I can't see a no-kill animals law and yet have a baby abortion at birth
and believe me, we're all big animal lovers.
Yes.
All of us in this room. I know Sarah loves her doggies and her kitties too.
But
Any thoughts,
they're
Sarah?
bad.
Super Sarah?
That's wild, man.
Isn't it wild? Yeah, it's
Yeah.
wild. So now let's go to the positive part.
Yeah.
The whole enchiladas. Dun, 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 dun. Okay, so here's what I got. You want to read them? Or,
No, you good.
okay. Border fence helped cut crime in Yuma by 91%. The sheriff is reporting that. All these you can find on our Facebook.
That's incredible.
Isn't that awesome?
Yeah.
Also, Trump posts Bolton, Ukraine video interview. That was awesome too. Because you know what? I wish we could play that song. You probably don't remember it, Tatiana. It's before your time. But remember that song? They smile in your face all the time. They want to take your place. The backstabbers. I dedicate that to Bolton. That's Bolton.
I'll have to look that song
Yeah,
up.
I'll send it to you. I'll send you it. RNC ad. So the response, Lemon, you know, does his laugh.
Yeah.
Have you seen the ad that they're putting out? The
I
RNC.
have not seen that one yet. No.
It's really well done because it has that segment. So they're talking about they're making fun of Republicans, and then they say, okay, this is what they think of you, and it's a really good ad. The RNC. This is what they think of you. They laugh at you, and that's what they think of you. And then the Doña Ana County, that's my county. I'm from Las Cruces, New Mexico, and in Doña Ana County, which is it's pretty Democrat, unfortunately, but their commission actually voted against supporting the red flag bill. My nephew David sent me the link, and he said, and by the way, David is the one who did our Chips and Salsa theme song. He said it just barely passed, like by one vote. So
That's
I send them a whole
amazing.
enchilada. Any other whole enchiladas before I get to the last one I'm going to announce?
No.
Sarah, Super Sarah, any others? I want to give Sarah a salute because she's here every week and we really appreciate you being here. You have your whole enchilada every week. And then the last nomination that I want to give is to Tatiana. Tatiana 2020, She's the whole enchilada, man.
Thank you.
Woo,
Thank
yeah,
you so
man.
much.
Yeah.
Awesome. So there's a lot of good ones. I think Tatiana should get it because she's here.
Yeah. And I believe it's a symbol of the change coming. Latinas in the house.
Yes.
Latinas in the house.
Yes.
We have other Republicans in the House, but a brave, courageous, from the heart Latina representing her community is a symbol to everybody of the advancement the Republican Party is making, and we are going to elect her for the House. So people in her community back her up 100%. We're putting Tatiana in the House.
Thank you.
I like that. We're putting Tatiana in the house. I think we should record that, get that
Yes.
segment, and make a commercial for you.
I love
and
that.
do that. So what I would like for you to keep us posted. I'm in the same LD too, but you're welcome back anytime. You want to come back here?
And
you
give
know,
give us your
Information.
contact information again.
Oh, yes. Go to my website, www.tatianapeña4az.com, or you could go Facebook at Peña4az, and that's FOR, not the number 4. And also my email is tatianapeña4az@gmail.com.
awesome. It's been wonderful having you here. I think next week, I believe that our guest will be Arizona House Representative T.J. Shope, who's also Latino,
Very cool.
and he'll be here. I can't remember. I might also have Corporation Commissioner Neil DeSanti. We've got about 7 people running for the Corporation Commission. We're trying to get them all on.
And they're all welcome to come on.
Yeah, shout out.
All
Please
the
contact
Republicans
us
are welcome to come on our show.
here in the
Should be
People's
invited.
House, as you say.
In the People's House. We telecast here from the People's House every Thursday, 5 p.m. And with the gracious hospitality of our chairman, Dr. Kelly Ward, chairman of the Republican Party. And she's been so gracious to let us do our show here. Thursday evenings at 5 p.m. And our Tuesday shows, I'll let Alice.
That's also at 5 p.m. on Central City Radio. But before we shift to that, I want to say happy birthday to Mike Shaw. Mike Shaw is a political director right now for Arizona GOP. And unfortunately, he's got to move to Texas. But that's okay because we're still going to stay in touch. And we broadcast here in his office. And he's been so great to us. He's actually helped us to host a show once in a while. So we just want to give him a giant shout out and a happy birthday. Today's his birthday. I told him he's 29
Happy birthday.
again. Happy birthday. We should have had you sing the Mañanitas.
And we wish him a lot
Yes.
of success where he's going.
Yes.
And I know he's going to help his mom and a lot of other personal things that he's taking on. And we wish him well because he's done very good for the Republican Party, helping Dr. Kelly Ward and being part of the team here at the People's House. And he's going to be sorely missed here at the People's House, and he's going to be missed by us, the Chips and Salsa show, and by all of the people that know him.
We're going to have to get him to call in once in a while from Texas and give us a report. I also want to wish you a happy birthday because tomorrow, Sarah, you know what's tomorrow, huh? Tomorrow is your grandpa's birthday. My brother's birthday. Ernesto Lara, happy birthday. Happy birthday to you. I'm not going to say how old you are because I don't have permission. But he's my number 2 brother, and I wish you a wonderful, wonderful happy birthday. Okay, let's see, did I forget anything else? I'd like to give a shout out to my great niece, Monica Lara. She's the one that created our Chips and Salsa logo. Way to go,
Nice.
Monica. And then David Beasley, who creates our song. Who else? Secret Sonia.
Secret Sonia behind the scenes with our YouTube, and fantastic Super Sarah over there.
Our intern, Super Sarah, right on. You'll be hearing from her more and more. We might get her to do some woman on the street interviews. Right on. Maybe she'd come hang out with us at some of these events
Yeah.
too. We might have
Let's
fun.
do it.
Yeah.
And then don't text and drive, don't drink and drive. Watch your kids around the pool. It's starting to get warm, and you're responsible. You have to be responsible parents and responsible guardians of your children. Watch them around pools. Don't leave them unattended in vehicles. Don't leave your pets unattended in vehicles. And don't drink and drive. Don't text and drive. And vote for Tatiana. And
If
don't
you can,
forget,
and
we
if you
have
can't, tell somebody who can.
we won't remind you of the preferential election. It was Democrats, but I'll be involved in it. This Saturday I have a class to study the computers because I'm a troubleshooter for the county. Other than that, Tatiana will probably be updating you in the future where your polling places are,
Yeah.
where you can go and vote for the primary, and the general election.
That's in August, right?
And she'll probably update all of the community as she goes, and letting people know. And if she runs into Democrats, she'll tell them where the polling places are to go
Yeah.
vote for the preferential.
I'm gonna tell you, I have only known Tatiana, this year, I guess, is when I met you. I haven't known her that long. But she's such a real person, and she's, I've been around politics for a long time. She's a phenomenal candidate. And no matter what side of the aisle you're on, reach out to her and talk to her, Maybe you won't. Maybe you're on the other side. That's okay, because everybody represents you. You're there. Even if you don't live in the district and she gets elected, she's still going to be representing you because she represents one vote.
Yeah, she'll have the
represents
information.
one vote.
She'll have the information that you need, even as a Democrat. And she'll be very courteous to you. And maybe you want to switch back to Republican now.
And I'm going to add one last thing, because I've been meeting a lot of Latinos in the state that even if they're not in our district, they're just thankful I'm running because they know that they do not have currently someone in the state legislature that's really representing the Latino community.
Awesome.
That's right.
Awesome. So we'll be back next week. Thank you, Super Sarah. Thank you, Tatiana, for coming in. It's been great. Thank you, Chipsters. Anything else we're forgetting before we sign off? All right, so we'll see you Tuesday, 5 p.m. Central City Radio, Talk Central Phoenix. Alice Lara.
Guacan,
Jorge.
Don Jorge, guacan.
Welcome. See you later.
Bye.
Thank you, Sarah. So the YouTube, you did get it up then, huh? Right on.
It's recording. It's
So,
Okay.
which camera? I did not know which camera.
So
you were
that
at.
was the YouTube down here at this laptop, I know. And Sarah was doing the YouTube.
She was doing YouTube?
with my
I got this weird phone call from her yesterday and... See, he didn't even stop it.